matching paint, bondoing holes and bondoing structures back, putting new structural bars back in vehicles that have been in severe damages, engine swapping. You have not been doing that. So when I'm telling you about something that costs has to do with the structure or something severe such as an airbag, stop trying to tell me what the price is or what it costs or how to do it.
Hey y'all.
Yeah, you know, it's situations like that, like Brian Tracy said. You know, there's points in people's lives where they're so far behind that they actually start thinking they're ahead.
I
So I
almost spit
mean,
my water out. I almost spit the water on the screen, bro. This
so I
bitch.
mean, in life, in life, she's just so oblivious that she actually just starts thinking she's smarter than everyone. You know, it's.
I would hope
I mean,
that
we
most of
we
them in that
we
category.
we see situations like that all the time. I mean, like the one lady that was trying to tell me about, where I was talking about, uh, basically redoing a vehicle from scratch to the down to the airbag, and she's trying to tell me the cost of airbags. Like what? Like you're like, no offense, no offense. I want to say, I said, listen, I know what you do. You're a nurse. You're a nurse. You're you're almost 60 years old. You're a nurse. I know damn well there's a high percentage chance that you have not been underneath the car like a grease monkey, swapping engines out of cars, replacing airbox out of vehicles, building back vehicles structurally from scratch. You have not been building cars back structurally from scratch, building the frames back, building the matching paint, bondoing holes and bondoing structures back, putting new structural bars back in vehicles that have been in severe damages, engine swapping. You have not been doing that. So when I'm telling you about something that costs has to do with the structure or something severe such as an airbag, stop trying to tell me what the price is or what it costs or how to do it. You're a nurse and you're not even that good of a nurse. Like, I'm listening to you talk. You're not even that excellent at a nurse. So don't try to tell me about something that you have no knowledge of that I'm excellent in. Are you sick? But again, long story short, when she was having a conversation, probably in her small circle of life, other individuals who she's around who don't have much knowledge about vehicles, she is on the upper half of this
Right,
small circle.
right.
Right? You're the
Or
average of the top
she's
five
the
percent
one
of.
that people come to. She's the one that people come to for questions.
Right, right. When in actual, when you know her knowledge is very low. I'm
That's a
telling
that's
her.
a form of not intelligent, not being intelligent is to think you know something when you clearly don't. I mean, that's an intelligence in itself, knowing what you don't know.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, and that's an extreme Dunning Kruger, right there. That's a
Yeah,
extreme
and
Dunning
that's his
Kruger.
poor mentality. Like Dan Locke just had a video where it's funny because the way he says shit is very like controversial, you know. So he gives the seven traits of he says the seven traits of being poor, the mindset, seven things, seven ways of thinking that makes you poor. And of course, the first one he goes, poor people watch TV, and he shows Netflix and shit. That's number one. Poor people watch TV. Rich people read books. Poor people blame others for their problems. Rich people solve problems. Then he starts going, he just fucking, the number three, I can't remember all of them, but number three was like, you know, poor people think they know it all. Rich people always are learning, continuing to learn, period. it just keeps going on and on, and it's like, somebody in the comments like, we gotta use the word poor, this, because the way he was breaking it down,
Yeah.
he was just being very straightforward. Poor people do this. Well, I watch TV, doesn't mean I'm poor. So Nate, again, back to your feelings. If a shoe doesn't fit, don't wear it. You know what I'm saying? But he did break down the 7 habits that 7 habits the rich do that the poor people don't. It was pretty good, man. And
Dan Locke's good. Dan Locke's
I like
good.
the way he broke it down. He does really good videos, and he does little things with his like he'll drop money down, fucking money, little coins on the floor, table and shit. He does little funny shit that makes his videos very just entertaining in general.
Yeah.
He's got fun.
And he has an interesting perspective on. I remember watching one of his videos like 2017 when he first started out. He's got an interesting perspective on business, and I remember one time he said something that I disagreed with harshly. Like I was like, I almost disagreed with it on a level where I was like offended, but I knew he was a good businessman. But then I've learned to grow. I over time grew into that ideology that he gave, and basically he was saying that he was in a he was talking to a crowd about he was giving like a seminar on business, on when he was saying should you save money and be the rich dad poor dad and save money and invest it and get money that way and build wealth that way? No, that's too slow. What you should do is figure out how to get a job with high income and live a lifestyle of high income, and figure how the spending of high income continues to make you money. And I'm like, what is this guy talking about? He said, yeah, when I started making high income, I started showing up places in limousines. And then I said, well, how can this limousine make me money? So then I showed up in places with the limousine, and then let other people rent out the limousine during the time I had the limousine, and made money off of that. Have a high income lifestyle and make high income and find out a way to make money off of it. And I said, well, yeah, that is a good attitude. That is a good attitude to have. Instead of, 9 to 5.
The strategy is different, but the philosophy is still the same, though. It's basically try to find means of money to make money without trading time for money in general. The whole concept.
In general.
It's just a different strategy. The way he's breaking it down is just a different strategy, but the concept
is
still a different form of money, though.
And obviously, things are, and we talked about this before, things are a lot better if you can get the high income job first.
Yes.
And then build off of that.
Every time I see these motherfuckers that got 20 houses, oh, I was an engineer, retired from as an engineer, 6-figure engineer, or I was a superintendent from a principal, or I was in a law firm. Like, not a lot of you guys had, or I was in a mortgages, selling mortgages, and I sold 50 mortgages, made about 150 that year, 150K that year.
Yeah.
Like, you hear all these people, or I was a real estate agent and I was selling high-end real estate, then I transferred over to flipping or something. But you're right. A lot of it, you start seeing these parallels of people have high incomes.
Or these superstar hedge fund guys who didn't become superstar hedge fund guys because they're necessarily ridiculously great at being a hedge fund manager, but for the simple fact that they worked for an investment company at a very high income position and had ridiculous amount of bonuses, and they did it for 10, 15 years. And by the time they started their own hedge fund, they were multi-millionaires, sometimes billionaires at that time. So when they started their own hedge fund, they were already amongst the super, super wealthy rich. So that's a lot of, so where he's right, I mean, because if I could go back and do it all, I would get the economics degree to get the half a 7-figure income for 5 to 10 years first, and then from then I could just be completely indemnified, just do what I want as far in business.
Yeah, it's a faster. You don't have to.
It's a faster. It's a faster route. It's a faster route,
Yeah,
and you don't have to be as much of an expert like how we are, and and have to wait more of the patient game. You know what I'm saying? We
yeah, it is what it is. Yeah,
it's accelerated.
Yeah.
That's an accelerated.
It's accelerated. It is accelerated for people like us. It's accelerated. Obviously, people that the average person that gets a high income job really still poor because they're doing no different with the person making 40 grand. They're just doing it at a higher level.
Right.
But for people like us, now you're talking about being able to house hack while making that type of money. Now you're talking about 10 years down to 5.
Right.
5 years.
Oh, right.
So now I can get like off the back and get 6 loans at 150,000. That's what I would do. I wouldn't get a big house. I would just stretch my shit in loan before I even have to worry about investment loans.
So there's 2 sides to that, right? And you're either swinging with the sharp side of the sword that has a smaller end, or you're swinging with the big side of the sword that has a duller end. So what does that mean? That means that, well, those people who are making the high income are not as smart, and they'll typically have behaviors that are not as smart as the person who comes from more of a humble means that has to flip each dollar one at a time. So if you can become the person who has the mentality and the knowledge to flip $1 at a time, but to get the high income at the same time, then you're just a whole complete person.
Right.
Because obviously, if we started off with their income, we would have got to their position faster, but with their behavior and with the income that they have at their behavior, they could never do what we're doing at the income that we started at. So it's like, it's one of those things. We've taken a regular American income and built wealth off of it. They've continued wealth off of a wealthy income.
Yeah. And not that it applies to us, but just something to think about. If you do get a high income job right off the bat, could it be possible that you don't even think about investing in wealth because you're so well off that trying to make more money or different form of money might not go past you because you in your mind there, versus us, we're essentially not making that money. So we're already thinking, how can I make more money? Because we're not in that group. This is not just being devil's advocate, because obviously we're in a position to where we're not there and we're thinking of ways to get there, versus we just went there from the get-go. Could have been to where we hit a ceiling, go, we're good. I mean, we're making 150, 160. I don't need to think about I'm not thinking about any of that. Actually, It's good. And which a lot of people are that have high income don't really have any really true investments besides whatever their job offers them, as far as the basics. And they don't really get into that. But the ones that do get into it, again, the ones that do are able to do it, but most probably don't even consider it. Because if that was the case, you get a lot of these politicians and all this, you would think will have, on the liberal side, have a lot of rentals and things of that nature, which a lot of them tend to not have any of that stuff. When it comes down to having a lot of investments outside their work.
No, absolutely.
Yeah, I always think about that when it comes down to, things happen, paradigms change, and
because at the end of the day, when it comes to saving, just saving just does something to you. Saving money just is like the foundation you need to build the
It's the
right
start.
mentality to build
Yes,
business.
it's the start.
Yeah, a lot having a high income enables a lot of people. It enables them because again, remember before we were talking about when it comes to having embedded thinking psychologically to where you understand things at a greater viewpoint. And if you never had to increase your knowledge or better your viewpoint on life and things because you were able to become successful from a privileged point, you'll never increase your knowledge. And that comes in business, social aspects, politics, any of those things. If you've come from a uh, privileged beginnings or privileged shoes and you were able to get success through those means of some sort, you will never gain the fundamental knowledge that is built upon being completely objective or completely unbiased when it comes to business and or politics.
I agree. Saving is definitely the one of the essential pieces because if you can't save, I really don't want to invest in a business owner that can't even save on a personal level. It tells me your business is not, you're not going to practice those habits in your business.
Right.
As we always say, if you can't run your personal life, how can you run your business? And there might be some people that maybe define the odds to that and maybe actually deal with their business a little better than their personal. But I would argue that if you can't handle your personal, I don't want to deal with a person that has bad financial personal ruins and then invest anything they have to do with business. Just me personally.
No,
Me
absolutely.
personally. You know, and saving again, saving is like you said, I agree, it's the start. Because obviously saving and just putting it in a savings account and just doing that for 20, 30 years is stupid. But the concept of saving, and then once you get that used to that for a few years, then that catapults you to investing because you have to save to invest. The money don't come from nowhere. So it has to be somewhere where it's being taken from certain forms of income and put to the side. So in the concept of just saving in general does open up other avenues because obviously just saving in the general principle is not enough. You know, because there are people out there that just says all I do is save. Yeah, saving and just putting a savings account is not. That's not good. And that means you need to just open up your financial intelligence because there's people out there like our friend, one of our friends, I'm gonna put his name out there, but that's all he's doing right now is trying to save. He's working all this overtime, doing 3-time shift, and he says, "Bro, I put another 1,000 saving." Yeah, you know, I said, someone's got that, hedge fund, so fund he's doing with now, you want to put in there. I'm just trying to save, bro. I got to put another. And I said, saving is good. Keep saving. But saving by itself is not going to it's not going to allow you to be in financial prosperity.
No, exactly.
You have to eventually, because every year, and I don't want to get into another subject, but every year, the dollar devalues. What you're able to buy this year, and then just for simple economics, just what a price of gallon of gas or milk, whatever, or whatever house costs today is not going to cost what a house or certain products are going to cost 10 years from now. Yeah. Which means your dollar devalues because it can't even buy what it was able to buy 10 years ago. To keep up, which is again, simple word, inflation. So if you just have money in a savings account, that $10,000 today you save won't even buy you the same amount of $10,000 would buy 10 years from now.
Yeah. Yeah.
I try to tell them that. It's like, bro, that's why you have to invest. You have to. You have to invest in some capacity.
At normal rates, money loses value and is devalued by inflation at a rate of 2% every year. And maybe even it'll be even a little bit faster now that we're printing a little bit more money. It might increase, but cash is trash.
Oh my God, bro.
Is trash.
Yeah.
Obviously,
I agree.
Obviously, we've talked about you got to keep a little bit in cash to be
that's
be a
for
little
good
bit
practice.
Yeah, and to be liquid just because we have expenses that need to be dealt with immediately. But and even our cash will still be like a money market account, for example, where you can get 1.2%
Yeah.
over the course
Yeah.
of a year, to where the money is still just turning a little bit. But at the end of the day, cash is trash. Cash
No,
is
brother, I agree. I told him, I said, if I could start over and teach anybody, I would tell them to invest that savings into making sure your credit is established. He was like, "What do you mean?" I said, "Bro, get fake personal loans. Just get a personal loan for a 12-month term, pay it off. Use your savings to build your credit because you'll always be able to get credit faster than you get cash." I said, "You will never be able to buy a house in cash," and I don't want to say never. It's unlikely you'll buy a house in cash. It's unlikely you'll buy a car in cash. It's unlikely you'll do anything, or get any type of. I said, "Bro, you can't even get investment loans. Everybody checks your credit. I've been to investment loans that even look at all your financials, but they still pull your credit though. They might not look at your W-2 and tax return, but they still look at your credit though." So I told him, I said, you can't get past this credit shit, bro.
no.
Which means that the loans that I have on the books, which are $250,000 of loans, I would never get it unless I had credit. Forget the savings part.
Right.
I can't even tap into this shit unless I have credit.
Yeah, because credit
So
is
that's why I was
leverage.
telling him, I said, "Bro, you'll get credit a lot faster than you'll get cash.
Yeah.
At a rate, I promise you, I'll save up $100,000 in credit. I can get access to $100,000 in credit before you'll ever get $10,000 in savings."
Yeah.
I didn't even say 100. I don't even want to do apples to apples. I even said 100,000 to your 10, and I would get there faster.
Yeah, because if used very properly, credit could be a very good credit can be a katana in a battle with ninjas, or credit can actually be a weapon of mass destruction. But
Very
if
true.
used properly, credit can be very good. Credit gives you the power to leverage. Credit gives you the power to use as float, and credit gives you the power to positive carry, to arbitrage.
Oh, yeah.
So credit is an excellent tool, and credit is just can be given to you in large amounts of numbers based upon the fact that you play the credit algorithm game very well.
That's all. It's just a game. That's why I told him.
Meanwhile, money has to be made with time, with effort. For at least when you don't own a business yet, you have to exchange time for money in order to get those dollars until you build a business. But with credit, if you got that 700 or up, and you got a nice profile, essentially the amount of credit you can acquire can be unlimited, and if you're smart, you can use it for a multitude of things. So I will say that I learned that too, because when you come to when you get used to investing in assets, obviously you need to do it with cash. And I used to think, cash is king, because that's what you use to invest with. But then when it came to understanding the housing market in 2016, even seeing one video with Jay Morrison, and even like Trump, 2015, 2016, where they were saying, where Jay Morrison was saying, well, credit is king, and even Will Roundtree was saying, well, credit is king, and Trump, he was saying, it's buying stuff with your money is good, but it's better to buy stuff with other people's money, and it is better to buy things with other people's money and to make money off other people's money.
Makes sense, because I always think about, and that hopefully doesn't happen, but if I really wanted to, if I default on what I have in my credit, it's not my money. It's going to be, they're the ones that are going to take the hit. I'm going to still keep the underlying asset.
Right.
Because the credit that I'm using doesn't even connect to the underlying assets that I use it for. So even if I did default on it, I would still keep my asset free and clear, because it has nothing to do with it.
No,
You know, I
absolutely.
always think about that. That's why I don't mind running. That's why I don't mind spending the rehab the way I'm doing it, because it's not even my money.
Yeah.
It's not even my money. I mean, it is. It does take a little bit of stress off, because at the end of the day, you can repair, restore, and there's the other one: repair, restore, and I don't forget the three R's. But anyway, when it comes to your credit, you can repair your
Re-
credit, you can restore your credit,
yeah.
you
Wait,
can
rebuild?
rebuild. There it is. That's it. Rebuild, restore, repair. So even if I do default on my credit, I can still do those three things and get it right back. And it's not 7 years. It's like 2 to 3. If you know what you're doing, you can get it back to about 2 to 3, because now bankruptcies are so, I don't want to say normal, but they happen so frequent that now you have lenders that look at 2 to 3 years and say, oh, based on what happened, we can see that. And in 3 years from now, we can see that that has nothing to do with your total picture.
Yeah.
That you could actually get, you might pay a higher interest rate or whatever, but the fact that you can't get any credit for 7 years, that's a lie now, because there's too many people are in that predicament where they filed bankruptcy and they're still, in the obviously 7 years, they're going to need something to, you know what I'm saying, to buy a house or whatever. And that's old. 7 to 10 years is old. It's more like 4 now. 4, because it's so common. So really, even then, you can repair it. And if you're smart, there's certain people that know how to take bankruptcies off your report. You spend like 2-3 grand to pay the right person, can wipe it off your report. So if you got access to that information, you could almost just repair your shit anytime. So it's like, you know, and people file bankruptcies with intelligence, but there's nothing to be a fear of bankruptcy. I wouldn't mind doing it if I have to. You know what I'm saying? I mean, I definitely look into it. I just don't want to do it now because I'm too early in the game. I hate to say it, but I'd rather do it when I have millions of assets.
Yeah, yeah.
And follow. And
No, it's better.
restructure.
It's better to use it than to restructure.
Yeah, now
A
you
little
want to
bit.
do everything legit. You want to make sure everything's legit and you don't fault on anything. Because you're not benefiting from a bankruptcy when you do it on the lower level.
No.
You benefit a lot when you have a lot of assets and a lot of, what I'm saying, if I have a $2 million apartment complex and then I file bankruptcy on that, that's gonna, allow me to, I hate to say it, but it's gonna allow me to come up in ways that I would never done if I did it just on a duplex.
It's funny. The other day, I was talking to this lady, right? And because crime has gone up now with during these past since the COVID. Excuse me, since the illness, the crime has gone up.
Pandemic.
Yeah, I had to cut that out. Since the COVID, crime is going up, but I was telling this lady, like, I don't understand it. There is no reason to be out there committing crimes, because even if you have a lack of money, go out there and apply for as many credit cards as you can and liquidate them bad boys and file bankruptcy if you need money. And guess what? You don't go to jail for that.
You don't.
You don't go to jail for that.
Wrong. Nope. You do not. Funny about Jay Morrison, he said that. He says one thing about me.
And she started thinking like, well, maybe I need to do that.
Yeah, no, he said that. He says you got people that are living the street life, watching over the feds, watching over, people that might want to rob them and always have to have a gun on their head, but always worried about that. And then you got people over here filing bankruptcies, and all you do is get a piece of paper that says that, that you're not paying your debt and that, we're going to try to collect. So you get collectors calling you. He said, that's it. He's like, yeah, you can liquidate, not pay the cards up, not just have you not go to jail. You just get phone calls from collectors. Just try to collect. You don't have to worry about anybody trying to kill you, shoot you, take your rights away and imprison you.
Yeah, because like a few minutes ago we were talking about Dan Locke. I don't know what it is about Dan Locke. Maybe because of the fact that, I don't know, people deem him as a little bit arrogant or cocky or whatever because of how he explains and what he says about certain things. But there's some YouTubers out there that their whole purpose is, for whatever reason, to find out who the frauds are, right? The frauds, the fake gurus. and a lot of them like to attack like Ty Lopez and Grant Cardone and Dan Locke. Like they like to make videos saying how fake guru they are, or how fake intellect they are, or how they're just fake business people, or whatever. So Dan Locke actually has a lot of different people who are like trying to say, oh, he's nothing. He's not even a business person. He's just fake. And even lawyers. This is one guy like, I'm a lawyer, and somebody needs to sue this guy because he's nothing more than a fraud. And I'm like,
wow.
Yeah, I'm like, well, really? That's what you spend your time doing? Like,
and actually, I hate to tell you, but the real fraud is probably not going to be online. He's probably just frauding behind the scenes. This is what kills me about shit. You really think a person is going to put himself in on a platform to incriminate himself? Come on. The real fraud is the one. If you're really worried about frauds, you might want to just get in the fraud prevention bureau or something and actually deal with that, because most people that commit crimes do it behind the scenes.
Yeah.
Behind the scenes under different alias that don't show their face. If you really care about a fraud, then find the real frauds, not the motherfuckers on a large platform. Yeah. That's just stupid to try to deal with somebody that purposely puts himself on the public eye.
Yeah, I because for whatever, I don't know what it is, I'm in the realm of business finance on YouTube or whatever, so you get automatic suggestions. So because I'm so heavy in it, their videos that they're promoting automatically gets thrown as suggested in my feed, and I have no choice because of just how they're keywording everything. But so after a while of seeing this suggested day after day after day, week after week, oh, Dan Locke's a fraud this, Dan Locke's a fraud that, you're just subjected to watch it. So one of the videos I watched, to where he's trying to say, well, see this video that Dan Locke did? He used the same exact title as this person who made a video 2 years ago. See, Dan Locke's a fraud. And I'm looking at this like that does not prove anything. Like, and this guy was a lawyer. And I'm like, darn well as a lawyer, that does not prove anything. I could write an article and use the same exact title and everything. I could do a movie with the same exact title from a movie that was made 10 years ago with the same exact title. It doesn't mean anything.
Yeah.
Really, it can mean two things. He's using that same exact title because he is making that particular topic better through his eyes, or two, he's using that particular title because it has high keyword searchability so that you can find Dan Locke's video very easily. I said there's, or maybe he is copying it of whatever. That's still no evidence that the guy is a complete fraud and he doesn't know anything about business.
Yeah, that doesn't make sense. Because me and you can make a video tomorrow that says the 7 habits of poor people.
Yeah.
The one he just made.
And
just make our own 7.
So now that means that I don't have an investment fund. I don't have real estate properties. I don't have finances. I don't know anything about business. I know nothing about fundamental analysis or reading Q&As.
There's too many interchangeable words. And if a title is only this long, there's going to be words that you're going to copy. Even if you're trying to be original, there's still somebody already used your title.
Yeah, exactly.
In some capacity, we're talking about business or something. Somehow your title is going to probably be linked to somebody else's. 100% of the time. If we name a title like, how to build credit. How to build credit has probably been 1 million times somebody's used that title.
But I will say this particular guy did actually show like maybe 2 or 3 of Dan Locke's videos use the exact title as another person. But still, it's like so what? There could be many reasons behind that. It could be
Is it
high
is
key
it over a period of time or is it right after?
over a period of time.
Then it's not copying. I find it hard to believe a guy like him went back 3 years to find a title from somebody 3 years ago and use that title today. It looks worse if you made something, then did it, and then this guy made it again, then this guy did it, and then you made another video, and then all of a sudden the next day he copied it again. Then it seems like he's really following you. But to say that he's not smart enough to find a fucking title, that he has to search 3 years back and reach 3 years back to copy your shit, copying it would be someone put something out, I do it tomorrow. Then it's kind of not debatable that I'm following you and copying your shit immediately.
No, but I will say it was word for word. Like, and this is not and this is not a short title. This isn't like 5 ways for business success. This is like basically learn the exact ways to run a proper business, semicolon, I will go in depth on how to learn this business in 5 ways.
Oh, see, I didn't know. See, now I didn't know that.
Yeah, and that's word for word, semicolon in the exact same spot, a parentheses in the exact same spot, and the video is actually 3 to 4 years old.
Oh,
yeah. So that
I thought you were talking about generic fucking
no.
title.
So obviously, you know, if somebody, for example, says 3 ways to success, that's going to be used a million times, and it's going to be used a million times by accident because it's just too short, too easy, and it's too common.
Yeah.
But there were like 3 times where there's no way that these should actually be the exact title because you're using like 20 words and parentheses and semicolons are in the same spot.
Well, you probably still can't fuck with him though because he probably knows how to protect his intellectual property. He's smart.
Yeah, that.
You probably
no, absolutely anyway. That and again, it doesn't matter if I copy your title. At the end of the, you know what I mean? It doesn't mean anything. When you look, and for real, when it comes to news articles, they copy each other's titles all the time, especially when it comes to the internet, because if you have a title that searches high, for example, on a particular article, that person might copy your title because it has great keyword setup to where it ranks at a very high level to where I might be looking for Tesla news. And then the article that pops up is Tesla's news on their quarterly earnings for this month for the new Cybertruck. So another person might copy that same article title and make their own article. So for the simple fact that when somebody types in Tesla news, that pops in at first or second. Smart. It's smart. But it doesn't mean that I'm copying your work. I still could have another video that is saying basically using that title and the topic is the same, but I'm giving the information in a way that I think is way better than you, because I think the way you're giving the information is essentially doo-doo.
Like basically when Floyd and McGregor were fighting, I read a lot of articles because it was such a popular topic before the fight that all these people were copying the same concepts because of the search engine optimization. It was a hot topic that people just had similar titles before the fight, just giving their opinions.
Yeah.
And if you searched anything about it, you would just had a whole bunch of shit flutter on Google when it came down to Mayweather and Floyd getting ready to fight. Everybody wanted to put their opinion because it's smart. Like you said, it's a topic.
Yeah, it's a topic.
It's a smart topic, but it doesn't mean that they're copying and pasting. But this is the thing, though. If you care about people copying, my thing is this. If I copied right now his thing word for word on purpose, he wouldn't give a fuck about me because I'm a nobody. And the thing about me, what bothers me, make it seem like it's always a come up, because people only give a fuck when there's somebody of certain status copies a little bit of their shit, just a little bit of their shit, and all of a sudden, oh, I gotta fucking hit him legally. But meanwhile, a poor person or somebody with lesser, you're like, oh, that's cool. He's paying me homage. Or he's paying me homage. He's not really, that's pretty cool. He's got the same, that's right. He's probably just copying and learning from me or whatever. Or it's not a big deal because you can't monetize from it.
Yeah.
So it still comes back down. Do you really care about people copying, or you care about people that are better than you, that have more success than you copying? Because obviously people do that to people that are higher up. This is why higher people have to have fucking lawyers for intellectual property, because they get sued for shit like this all the time.
Yeah, you got to have lawyers on deck. And we talked about that we said when we, you know, we know that when we get to a certain point, people will sue you. We will get sued. We, you know, just people will sue you because they're just jealous of you. They're envious of you. And you have butter and they just want to sue you.
Here you bought a track from a producer and find out, oh, this other artist used this exact same beat song. Motherfucker, I bought this shit from this producer. How the fuck I know he sold it to other artists?
Yeah. Yeah.
I heard that because people like that, you'll watch something and not understand business and go, see, yep, that's the exact same beat Jay-Z used, exact same thing. I'm like, bro, it's business. Whoever the producer was obviously sold it to Jay-Z and probably sold it to this individual.
Yeah.
You can't look at it and say he was copying, because beats get sold, period.
Yeah.
So you don't buy exclusive rights to it unless you, I mean, I guess you could, but in most cases, the producer or the creator owns the rights to the beat.
And really, when it comes to producing, if you slow the beat down slow enough or speed it up fast enough, it's actually considered a new beat, a new track. I don't know the actual the metronome that is used or the beats per minute, but if you speed it up or slow it down at a specific rate, it's actually considered a completely brand new different beat, even though it sounds pretty much the same. It's actually considered completely different, and you don't have to ask for no rights at all.
But poor people do this all the time. They'll rap on a fucking notorious guy's beat with no permission and get $20,000, $30,000 views and shit, and just do something and make a song of somebody else who not even understand the legals that they're doing all the time on a lower level.
Yeah.
On the lower level, you can rap on right now, a beat that we have no rights to.
Yeah.
And put it out. I mean, literally post it. And no one ever even think a beat to it like, oh, that was pretty fresh, bro. That was a dope song you did on that.
Yeah.
It doesn't mean nothing until you make money. That's what I'm saying. No matter what, until you monetize and make substantial money, you're not going to get bothered.
Yeah. And it is.
That's why I said, is it about right or wrong? That's my argument. Isn't it really about right or wrong?
That's what I'm saying. Like, why are you doing this? Like, what is your purpose in life? To find fake gurus? Like, to me, a fake guru is somebody who knows nothing about business, who just creates a product and scams people. When you watch, Danlock has how many videos? 300, 400, 500? I don't know. When you watch his content, it's out of 400 or 500 videos, is that nothing but scams? Come on, man. Come on. Now you're being. I mean, I'm gonna start acting like Joe Biden. Come on, man. You know how Joe Biden says that? Yeah. Come on, man. I mean, yeah, when he can't think of nothing to say, he always says, "Come on, man."
Come on, man.
Yeah.
You're not black enough. You don't vote for Biden.
Come on, man.
Come on, man. I tell you what.
No, but
you ain't black. No vote Democrat.
Come on, man. I mean,
you want to talk about insult right there? That's an insult right there. How can a white man tell somebody you ain't black enough? How the fuck? I don't even care if it was a joke. How the fuck can you even say that and you're not black? It doesn't matter if you grew up around black people. My pops would even say that shit. You cannot be white and say to African Americans, you're not black. So how do you know what black is? Yeah. You can have an idea, but you still can't feel it though.
Yeah.
Period. That goes for people that says, well, I feel like I'm a woman. You how do you know? How can anybody know what a woman feels like unless you are one? You can have, again, ideologies that what a woman does because we see it and we try to connect, but you truly don't know what's going on as far as inside the mind day to day of a man versus a woman because you're not one.
Yeah.
So you can only speculate. That's what I'm saying. When you say things that you're not, you can only speculate based on what you think represents that particular, you know what I'm saying, conversation. Represents that conversation you're trying to have.
Yeah, and you could have a respectful lens of what it's like a white person growing up in a black neighborhood. You could have a intrinsic viewpoint of what it's like, but you'll truly not know because you're not. You'll just truly not know. There will be a lot of things that you will just lack because you're not. Same thing with the with LGBT community, people who don't feel like they're adopted sex that they were born with. Even if you are born with an extremely abnormal amount of estrogen in a body that is designed for testosterone, and you feel feminine and you believe it's natural to act out in a feminine way because in your brain there's more estrogen than testosterone, that's fine. But you just never truly know what it's like to be a woman because you're not.
Enjoyed this episode? Subscribe to AR Media Institute on Apple iTunes or Spotify podcasts to get instant access to short-length episodes. For full-length episodes, visit us on patreon.com/AR Media Institute to get full-length episodes. Don't forget to follow me on Instagram at Mr. Rembrandt. That's Mr. Rembrandt. Or you can follow me on Twitter at AR Rembrandt. Thanks for listening, podcasters.